Hello, everyone. It's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here laughing at the article that I just read. All right, you're gonna love this one. This is the Guardian. Chuck Schumer. Democratic agenda will resonate with the middle class. Democratic seats answers after dispiriting loss in Georgia special election. It was dispiriting, Chuck. I imagine so. It was dispiriting. You spent a lot of money to lose that election. You spent a whole lot of cheddar to lose that election. Do you know how embarrassing it is to burn through $25 million and lose? Now, here's the thing. If you spent $25 million and won, people would have talked about the money, but if we're being honest, nobody would have really cared. People spend ridiculous amounts of money on political campaigns anyway. But to lose, you would like to cultivate this idea that there's going to be this wave of centrists that go riding into Congress in 2018. You may or you may not be right. What I will say is this centrist won't be riding in. He won't be riding in. And whether you have a wave or not, I'm somewhat skeptical. I'm skeptical. Because you've lost everything. I don't know if Republicans, during that flip around that you guys are thinking is going to happen, where it flipped on Obama, then the Senate flipped, I don't know if Republicans had lost to this degree when that flip happened. And we're in a change campaign. We're in a change time. This is when the public is looking at its political apparatus and it is finding it lacking on both sides of the political spectrum. Now, I'm doubtful. Look, put it this way. I'm doubtful of the 2018 centrist revolution that you're looking for, that you're expecting. You believe you don't have to do squat. And in not doing squat, things will change automatically, like it always has. It would flip. We're going to get a president in office in 2020, and the world will be back in status quo hands. I'm skeptical. I'm glad this loss was dispiriting. I'm glad you lost. I wanted it to hurt. I want you to burn your money in this way. And yes, this is sounding slightly spiteful, but you cheated, my guy. So yes, I'm going to be somewhat slightly spiteful and somewhat critical. You're in court arguing that you can lie when you want to lie because what you say amounts to a political promise. I'm stuck with that. I can't do anything with that. I'm literally stuck with you telling me you can lie to me anytime you want to lie to me for political ends. So when I hear about this dispiriting loss, it hurts. It hurts Chuck Schumer to his heart. This dispiriting loss. And then I read this article about this strong, bold, sharp-edged, and common-sense economic agenda that you guys are going to put up. Let me read the article, because I'm trashing you. But I'm trashing you based on honest things that took place. So let's not... It's like I'm being harsh, but I'm being harsh with a certain amount of reality associated with my being harsh. It's true. Everything I'm saying is true. It's just hard-edged. Or maybe it's not. Maybe I feel that way. Maybe I feel that's the way it's coming out, so I'm perceiving it that way. But this is the Guardian. Democrats need a strong, bold, sharp-edged, and common-sense economic agenda, policy, platform, message that appeals to the middle class, that resonate with the middle class and unite Democrats. That's what I've been working on for months. Have you now, Chuck? You've been working on this for months, Chuck, and you just now telling us? Why are you just now telling us? I have another question. I have another pertinent question. If anybody gets the opportunity to ask Chuck Schumer a question, please ask him this question. Why are you just now bringing out this agenda, and why wasn't this your agenda before? For that matter, what was your agenda before? If what you're about to come out with is strong, bold, sharp-edged, and common sense, are you saying that the other stuff that you were doing weren't common sense? And what were those other things? And why do you believe that you needed a different thing? Why? Explain to me why. What does your party stand for? What did your party stand for? What do you believe your party stood for before that you needed to make this change? Explain those things to me, Chuck. Explain those things. Reveal your soul. I will be your confessor. If you can be honest with me, Even though I know you told Linda Court that you guys are going to lie when you need to lie. But if you're honest, the hard question to answer is, whatever your stuff was before, since you're coming out with something new, but whatever the stuff was before, why was it that way? Why? Why? Explain it to me. Because that's the part I really want to know. Beyond everything else. Because I have an idea of politics in regards to what I believe controls political decisions. I believe cash controls political decisions. I believe that you create certain entanglements when you take money from people with a lot of money. And I believe that you understand that, for the most part, those elections are won by the side with the most money. And so, yes, you would glad hand, you would say things that you need to say in order to get people to vote for you. But ultimately, the choices and the decisions that you make boil down to who is paying me. You will use Republicans in the way wrestlers will use other wrestlers to complain about not being able to get things done. That's my idea of politics. That's what I believe takes place. So explain to me, Chuck. Explain to me, were you really just this ineffectual? Or were you being paid to be this ineffectual? Tell me if I'm right. Is my understanding of politics, my idea of this, correct? Please tell me. I want to know. Even if you find me in some convention somewhere, just whisper in my ear. Yes. Yes, you're right. That's what I want. That's what I want. Because if Chuck Schumer is coming to me and saying this is a strong, bold, sharp-edged, and common sense economic agenda, that's subjective, but whatever. He's saying this is common sense. What is the shit you were doing before? Why is it only now you're finding this common sense agenda by losing to this degree? Why didn't you have this common sense agenda when you were in office before? Oh, absolute power. Not necessarily of space, matter, and time. No, but at the very least of the political apparatus, you had absolute power. You had absolute power. But when you're out of power, when all of your houses have been burned down, now you're coming up with this. We need a strong, bold, sharp-edged, and common sense economic policy agenda. Okay. Yes, I'm skeptical. I think you're full of shit. I'm sorry. And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. And no, that's pretty divisive in regards to having a conversation with. But I don't want to have a conversation with Chuck Schumer. I want Chuck Schumer to lose. I want Chuck Schumer out of his seat. I want Nancy Pelosi out of his seat. I want the Democratic Party in ashes. That's the position. Because I understand that anything that's going to get done is going to come from the left. And this is not an apparatus that you can get anything done in. This guy is essentially saying he needs a bold economic strategy that's common sense. And I asked the question, what was the strategy before? Why wasn't that particular strategy common sense, and why? Why was that the particular strategy they were taking before? Certainly that strategy wasn't doing anything for the middle class. Obama gave 95% of the wealth to the top 1%. I always repeat it because it's mind-blowing to me. It's a mind-blowing number. That was a Democrat. You have 100 slices of pie. One guy comes in and takes 95 of those slices. What are you doing for the middle class? If you're giving 95% of the wealth to the top percent? What? Chuck Schumer, Obama, Nancy Pelosi, what are you doing for the middle class? And why were you doing it that particular way? Why? I make the contention that you were paid to do it that way. Who are your funders? Who are your donors? What is the policies that you put out? And do those policies lean more towards the people who are stupidly voting for you, or to the people who are smartly paying you to represent them? I'd argue it's the latter. It goes to the people. It's the former. No, it's the latter. The people who are essentially paying you to represent them. That's the reason you need this bold new strategy. And I would guarantee you that the bold, quote unquote, bold new strategy that comes out, it's minor concessions. You represent a particular interest. You have donors. You're in a Democratic Party. You want progressives. You know progressives hate the fact that people are paying you money to do their bidding. You know it. So what do? You try to own out just a little bit, just enough to get progressives to bite. While at the same token, doing the bidding of the people who are paying you. At most, you will push out a little bit of change. Incremental. It has to be incremental because the people who are paying you will not give you money if you do more. So you're stuck in the center. You're the noble centrist, the ridiculous centrist, the apathetic centrist, the feckless centrist, the guy who can't get shit done because for the most part he's paid not to do anything and keep things status quo, giving minor pushes around the edges to allow progressives to bite on. I say no. I want you to fail. I don't care what you come out on your agenda. I want you to fail. I don't believe you. I don't trust you. I don't trust your party one iota. And I've seen nothing to make me think that anybody else who goes in that particular office is going to do anything other than what they've always done. This is a thing of messaging to you. This is not an actual thing of policy. I don't give a shit what Bernie Sanders says. I don't give a shit what any of these other people says, Elizabeth Warren or otherwise. Your party needs to fail. Your party needs to fail. You are untrustworthy. You undermine democracy. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? Your bold new economic agenda is not going to do shit for the undermining to democracy. Keep it. Keep it. Die by the thing that you've lived by. That's what I would say. Activists who support Sanders, prominent among critics of the Ossoff campaign in Georgia, which ran on a centrist message in a district Trump won by 1% of the presidential vote in the presidential election. Schumer said, I'm talking to Bernie Sanders. I'm talking to moderate Joe Manchin. Come on. This is going to be really something Democrats can be proud of and excited about. Is it now? Sanders spent the weekend rally against a Republican health care bill set to be voted on in the Senate this week. Asked on NBC's Meet the Press on Sunday about Georgia's defeat, Sanders said, well, it's more than a special election. It's more than a special election. For the last 9 years, Democrats have lost the White House. We've lost now the Senate. We've lost the U.S. House, 2/3 of governor chairs, and are controlled by Republicans. And thousands of seats have been lost to Republicans in state legislatures all over this country. Nonetheless, Sanders says, Democratic woes originated in a general dissatisfaction. I'll tell you what I think is going on, he said. I think there are massive amounts of demoralization on the part of American people in the Democratic Party and with the Republican Party. That's true. Keep going. Come on. I think what the Democrats have got to say is we will be on the side of the working class in this country. Schumer says the economic message for the platform is going to resonate. It's what we're missing. It's not going to be baby steps. It's going to be bold. We're coming out with it this summer, within a month. You'll see it, and Democrats will try to pass it legislatively for a year and campaign on it in 2018. But you lose an election, you don't blame the people, you blame yourself. That I agree with. It wasn't Russia, it was you. It wasn't Russia, it was you. There's no way that you can say that Russia lost 66 of 99 state legislatures. There's no way. Russia is not that busy. I'm sorry, it's not. There's no way. I'm sorry. So, Chuck Schumer has, quote-unquote, bold new ideas, bold new strategies for the Democratic Party. I have no clue why Chuck Schumer didn't have these strategies out before. I have no clue why these weren't the strategies that he was running on before. I have no clue why Chuck Schumer chose the strategies that they chose in the first place. I have no clue. I would like to ask Chuck Schumer those things. Why on earth did you have that particular tenor? If you're coming out with bold new strategies, why did you have the original tenor that you had? Why? Why was that your tenor? Why is that your political stat? Meaning, on the political spectrum, you very clearly can take polls. You know what the public wants. Why? Why are you not where the public is? I think that's a fair question. Now, you can tell me this shit about the state and everything else. I don't believe you. I'm sorry, I don't. When it comes to a vote, when it comes to things that matter, for instance, single payer. If that budget, if whatever the hell Chuck Schumer's coming out with doesn't have single payer, again, keep it. Keep it. And look, this is, if I would wager that at the very least you would have to have single payer. Like, it doesn't matter what. There's no way you can tell me that Obamacare is not failing on its own devices. I'm sorry, you can't tell me that. It was a bad idea. It was a bad strategy, and I know Obama has his name on it, but Republicans put his name on it for a reason. They wanted it to fail, and when it failed, they wanted to have his face on it. Obama. Hillary Clinton, he wanted her in that office because he knew that when that thing failed, he needed somebody to be able to fix it. Hillary Clinton was going to be that person Do you honestly believe that Donald Trump is going to lift one finger to do anything for Obamacare? He is not. He's going to let it fail. And every day on Twitter, he's going to be laughing at Obama, saying, hey, there's your healthcare plan. You should have did it right the first time. You had the power to do so. You didn't do it. Explain to me, Chuck. Explain to me. Why does it take you to lose this much to come to some quote-unquote bold new strategy that's supposed to be an economic message for the middle class? Why? Why did you have your original bearing? That's the question I want to know. That's the question. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. All right. If you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support the work through Patreon. Thanks, guys.